Chapter 9. The Third Form of Contemplation. In simpler terms, some mystical writers have made a big deal about separating natural and supernatural contemplation. But this separation has caused more confusion than clarity. When people hear the word supernatural, they usually think of strange things like visions, superstitions, ghosts, and other spooky stuff that doesn't fit with what they consider normal. This makes them suspicious of anything mystical. But we need some way to talk about the real difference between the second and third stages of contemplative consciousness development. There's a significant shift in how you understand reality if you want to go deeper on this path. Up to this point, everything you've achieved has been the result of your hard work. You've disciplined yourself, controlled your thoughts and desires, practiced recollection daily, focused on deeper aspects of life, and shown loving attention to others. All of this has expanded your understanding and connected you to a larger existence. You've been an active participant in your contemplation journey, using your willpower to make progress. In technical terms, your contemplation has been active, not infused. Now, after you've gained an understanding, though it might be unclear and hard to put into words, of the encompassing presence of reality in two ways known as immanence, which says God is seen as eminently present in all things, and transcendence, which emphasizes the idea of God as separate from and beyond the created world by theologians, there's going to be a shift in how your finite human spirit relates to the infinite life it now knows itself to be a part of. What's coming your way, and a lot might indeed come, will seem to happen effortlessly on your part. But in reality, it's the direct result of all the hard work and discipline you've put in so far. It's because of that effort that you can now sense the subtle connection to deeper truths. It also depends on you maintaining that state of balance you've been trained for, even during times of darkness and boredom. You should let your loving and surrendered will remain open to the calm and unclear space and stay trustingly connected to the core of the essential world. Think of yourself like a traveler who has finally arrived in a new place after a tough and demanding journey. All the effort and pushing forward have been a big part of your life. But now, as things get easier, you might feel a bit lost, like your main purpose is gone. The good news is you don't need to keep pushing yourself so hard. Even though you can't control everything anymore, there's still a lot that can and will happen to you. The place you've arrived at seems unfamiliar and confusing because it lies beyond the boundaries of human understanding. There are no recognizable landmarks, nothing you can grasp onto. As the mystics say, you wander to and fro in this boundless realm, surrounded by silence and darkness, struggling to breathe in this rarefied atmosphere. It's like moving to a new place with a different climate. You need time to adjust. So your state should be one of wise passivity now, allowing the powerful forces around you to affect and adapt your spirit. The unfamiliar light that currently seems like darkness will eventually clear your vision. You'll transform from a visitor into a resident of this extraordinary place, which St. Augustine described as not just a vision, but a home. So here's the deal. You need to let go of all your conscious efforts and anxieties. When you find yourself in this place of darkness and stillness, which St. John of the Cross called the night of the Spirit, you should just be there quietly. Don't ask for anything. Don't seek anything. Instead, open up your heart wide to God. As you do this, you'll gradually become more certain that this darkness hides the ultimate goal you've been seeking all along, the final reality you're meant to unite with, the complete fulfillment of your deepest and most sacred desires. It's there, but you can't reach it through your own efforts. Realizing your own complete powerlessness, feeling like the transcendent, which you've long been seeking and faithfully serving, is now resisting your busy will, love, passion, and deliberate self-sacrifice. This is a challenging but crucial part of training for the human soul. It places you in a state of passive suffering, which is necessary to fully shift your focus away from yourself, test the purity of your love, and teach you humility. In this phase, you'll need to resist your natural impulses and the ideas that come from your clever, active self. This self doesn't like silence and darkness. It always wants to bring the practical methods of someone like Martha into the realm of Mary, and it often confuses passivity with laziness. When you try to achieve this perfect self-surrender, you might realize that you need a deeper self-exploration and a more profound purification than what you went through during your first experiences of inner reflection. You'll have to dig even deeper and get rid of the last traces of your ego, including the desire for spiritual satisfaction. The basic human tendency to try to process the simple fact rather than offering ourselves to it must be rooted out. During this intense contemplation and deep silence, your soul gradually becomes aware of a tightness, a terrible feeling of being confined within your personality. Something within you still clings to its own center and prevents you from completely surrendering, which is the only way to find peace. To succeed, you must adopt an attitude of absolute generosity, complete submission, and a willingness to accept whatever may come your way, even failure and death. Union with reality can only happen through love, a joyful and humble merging with the universal life. You must, as much as possible, give yourself up to it, die into it, become one with the whole. Stop trying to grasp it actively. Instead, be open to the idea that it can grasp you. As Tauler put it, this is a moment of pure, simple going forth. Ruysbroeck expresses the same idea by saying, no one can be sure of eternal life unless they have completely merged their own attributes into God. Don't expect pleasant emotions when you completely surrender yourself during this process. It might feel like everything is being taken away from you with nothing given in return. But if you can endure it, a profound transformation will occur. From this transitional period of darkness, you'll be reborn into a different world, a new stage of understanding. You'll literally become someone different than you were before. Ascetic writers describe this transformation as a shift from man's activity to God's action. They mean that the surrendered self stops trying to control and starts receiving. In simple terms, the contemplative person experiences a new and intense awareness. They feel like they are in the grasp of a higher power that is both a part of them and completely different from them. This power is rich, alive, filled with emotions, urgent, and beyond anything they've ever known, so they can only think of it as God. All the quietness and increasing passivity you've been cultivating in the stage of quiet has been preparing you for this. The new experiences emerge from your willing stillness and deepening obscurity. O night that didst lead thus! O night more lovely than the dawn of light! O night that broughtest us lover to lover's sight, lover with loved in marriage of delight, says St. John of the Cross in the most wonderful of all mystical poems. St. Teresa, when talking about this stage of understanding, says that someone who has gone through it will grasp it to some extent. However, it's hard to describe it clearly because it's quite mysterious. The best she can explain is that the soul feels very close to God, and this feeling is so definite and strong that it can't doubt it at all. This feeling, this strong belief, which can take various forms in our imagination, is what makes up the most significant experiences and the greatest joys for mystical saints. How intensely you feel it depends on how passionate, pure, and humble your spirit is. Even those who feel it only faintly are forever convinced by it. In some exceptional and generous individuals who can withstand the overwhelming impact of reality, this feeling can become so vivid that it erases everything else. The self becomes completely helpless under the overwhelming force of this transcendent life, and it enters a state of consciousness known as ecstasy. Don't be scared by these extraordinary experiences, and don't think that the path is closed to you because these great spiritual individuals seem to have a natural talent for connecting with reality. Far beyond what you might feel, you, being human, also have the capacity to connect with the infinite, albeit with less intensity and brilliance. But your sense of the living reality and its mysterious interactions with the human spirit can be realized with unwavering certainty, unshaken by any arguments. This realization sometimes felt in terms of a personal presence and sometimes as an impersonal but life-giving force, light, energy, or heat, is the central aspect of the third stage of contemplation. It's the reward for the patient, humble passivity you've been working towards, which the mystics sometimes call busy idleness. Sooner or later, if you're patient, it will come to you, even in the midst of darkness, a mysterious connection and a clear certainty of communion and possession. It might approach gradually, so the transition from the deepening stillness and peace of the second stage hardly registers. Or, if you have a passionate and changeable nature, it might come suddenly, like a storm of love. In either case, when the experience comes, it's unpredictable and completely beyond your control. Up until now, you've been nurturing your spiritual growth like tending to a garden, putting in effort and seeing definite results. But now, it's like someone has taken away your watering can and you have to rely on the rain. It's more generous and fruitful than anything your own efforts could achieve, but its timing and intensity are beyond your control. Here's the key. If you can embrace the demanding aspects of the spiritual journey, if you let go of self-interest, even the spiritual kind, you create conditions where the forces of the spiritual realm can work on you. They will enhance your sensitivity, deepen and purify your focus, allowing you to experience more and more of the boundless richness of reality. By surrendering your own will and patiently waiting for what comes naturally, you'll eventually notice a significant shift in your perception. You'll notice that those who said selflessness was the only path to true understanding were speaking the truth, not just religious tales. Your highest moments of contemplation so far have been marked by a deep sense of stillness. Stopping your own striving and resting in the absolute world, these have been the main features of your consciousness. But now, the ocean of being no longer feels like an empty, boundless space. Suddenly, you sense it teeming with a movement and life too immense for you to fully grasp. You're filled with a tremendous energy that you didn't control or ask for. It pours into your soul. You're entering an experience that defies words, beyond the realms of power, thought, motion, and even love, yet it encompasses and completes all these things. Your strength now truly comes from recognizing your weakness. You're completely dependent, and this dependence infuses new life into you, unlike anything your old, separate existence ever knew. On top of that, you still have that sense of the infinite, which you've immersed yourself in, and it absorbs and completes all the concepts your mind has ever formed using the categories of time and space. Now, you're also aware of a living reality that encompasses, surpasses, and fulfills everything you understand through the concepts of personality and life. Your attempts to act freely, understand clearly, and love sincerely, even though they might not be perfect or fully conscious, are now in harmony with the supreme will, thought, and love. The contemplative spirit instantly recognizes these as the highest reality it has ever known, and they evoke in you a passionate and humble joy. The mystics of all religions have experienced this unmistakable sensation, and when we read their accounts, we realize they're all talking about the same thing. Those who have felt it never doubt its truth. It becomes the central reality against which they measure and understand all other experiences. It awakens in them a profound awareness of abundant life sources now within reach for humanity. They sense the impact of a powerful energy, gentle, passionate, selfless, and creative, which they can only describe as absolute love. Sometimes they feel this unusual life force moving and stirring within them. Other times it seems to pursue, attract, and surround them. Regardless, they are passive recipients upon whom it acts. It's a different power that seeks out the individual spirit and calls it forth. It knocks on the closed door of the limited personality, permeates the contemplative consciousness entirely, speaking, stirring, and compelling it. Sometimes, through its secret, irresistible pressure, it even wins over the most resistant individuals despite themselves. At times, this power is sensed as an impersonal force, the unifying energy of the cosmos, the loving force that brings all together as one. Sometimes it feels like a sudden surge of vitality, a light and warmth that envelops and penetrates the self, making life more vibrant and real. Occasionally it's perceived as a personal and friendly presence that advises and pleads with the soul. In all these cases, the mystics are really clear that what they're experiencing is God. They're saying that in these various ways, the soul has a direct connection with him. However, we have to understand that when they say this, they're speaking from a level of awareness that goes beyond the ideas and images of popular religion. They're also beyond the carefully defined boundaries of philosophy. By God, they don't mean just a lofty concept. They mean a real, vivid, and undeniable experience. It's so alive that compared to it, the so-called facts of everyday life seem vague and uncertain. They say that this experience is immanent, meaning it's within and present in every aspect of the universe and every part of life, as you discovered in the first stage of contemplation. Here you can hear its music and recognize its form. They also say that it's transcendent, meaning it's fundamentally beyond and includes all those glimpses and connections we have when we immerse ourselves in life. Even its simplest aspects are above and beyond anything reason can reach. It's the nameless being about whom nothing can be said, as you found in the second stage. Furthermore, they claim that this all-encompassing, ever-changing yet unchanging one, whose music can be heard in all movement, calls the human spirit to an immediate connection, a unity, an enjoyment, and a divine exchange. These experiences are beyond the power of symbols like feeding, touching, marriage, or immersion to fully describe. In the fully conscious soul, they evoke both a passionate and humble love. Ruysbroeck exclaims, "He devours us and he feeds us." St. Thomas Aquinas says, "Here the soul, in an incredible and indescribable way, both seizes and is seized, devours and is devoured, embraces and is fervently embraced. Through the knot of love, she unites herself with God and is with him as the one with the only one." The beautiful love poetry of mysticism, the ecstatic descriptions of the Spirit's lover, friend, companion, bridegroom, and the stories of the relentless pursuit of the separated soul by the hound of heaven, along with the passionate, generous, and unfathomable love, all of this is an attempt to express and share this extraordinary secret. It's an effort often using indirect and symbolic language to convey that intense yet elusive state where union with the living heart of reality is possible. St. John of the Cross exclaims, "You teach love to me so delicately." Here we find that all the passions of earthly lovers are justified by an everlasting goal. This goal reveals itself in everything we genuinely love, and even beyond these things, it seeks us out and compels us. It gives us more than we can receive and asks for more than we can give in return. you'll never truly understand what this objective is. As Dionysius teaches, if anyone claims to have seen God and comprehended it, they didn't see God, but something connected to God. You understand now that this feeling exists so strongly that it overshadows everything else except for their connection to this central fact. Some contemplate the formless, and others meditate on form, but the wise man knows that Brahma is beyond both. Bhagavad Gita. As you surrender more completely to the impulses of this intimate yet ungraspable presence, your connection with it becomes sweeter, stronger, more constant and steady. Your imperfect expression of adoration will be met and amplified by another kind of music, gentle, profound, and unusual. Your outward reaching, the extension of your desire from yourself toward something beyond you, will be met by a stirring and movement within you, yet not controlled by you. The wonder and diversity of this connection are endless. It encompasses every aspect of human love and self-devotion, all forms of beauty and power, suffering and effort, gentleness and ecstasy, all found in a harmonious blend. As you venture into the openness and obscurity of this unbound realm of deep contemplation, you'll discover and finally make real all the highest values and most cherished, noble experiences from the world of growth and change. Now you'll understand the process of your mystical development. As your narrow heart expanded to embrace a broader empathy with life, you've been progressively surrendering to larger and more complete realities. You've learned to know them and share in their very essence through the power of selfless love. First, you embraced the manifested, flowing, evolving life of multiplicity. Once you surrendered to its rhythms and received its messages without distortion through a simple, open awareness, you were awed by its wonder and completeness. Next, you encountered the unchanging foundation of life, the eternal and unrestricted whole that goes beyond all sequences. It's a realm inaccessible to the senses and intellect, but you felt it vaguely, darkly, yet intensely, with a calm and surrendered consciousness. And now, whether you want it or not, you're drawn towards an even greater reality, the ultimate, all-encompassing fact, the unmeasured love that is through all things eternally. As you yield to it, receiving and responding to its mysterious yet fervent messages, you move beyond the cosmic experience into a personal encounter. It's a simple yet absolutely indescribable union of the soul with its God. This threefold union with reality, where you focus on different aspects of its rich simplicity, will manifest in various ways. Don't think that your inner life will now be characterized by unchanging and empty ecstasy. Although the feeling of being in the eternal will add depth and clarity, you'll still have the urge to make your own efforts, maintain a constant connection with the spiritual world, and keep giving of yourself. When the greater love overwhelms the lesser, and your small self-awareness dissolves into the awareness of the whole, it will be experienced as a profound stillness, a tranquil realization of reality. During such moments, your very sense of self seems to fade away, much like it does in intense experiences of passion, and you'll feel satisfied and overflowing, eternally fulfilled in Him beyond yourself. Again, there are times when your own necessary activity takes center stage. Your small, energetic love constantly strives for deeper and deeper understanding, delving into the boundless depth of the infinite and eternal. During these moments, it feels more like an ongoing encounter than a final achievement. Because you are both a child of time and eternity, you need both effort and satisfaction, active and passive love, to bring your entire life into union with the incredibly rich yet straightforward one in whom these apparent opposites find harmony. So, seeking and finding, working and resting, struggling and finding peace, drawing from God and immersing yourself in God, experiencing spiritual union and spiritual transformation, These seemingly contradictory images are all necessary. They help represent the ever-changing emotions of the living, evolving human spirit and the different ways it realizes the simple fact of its connection with the divine. Each new stage you reach in the mystical development of your spirit doesn't mean leaving behind the previous ones. It means adding to them. It's a continuous expansion of your experiences and enrichment of your personality. So, the overall outcome of this transformation, this steady growth of your transcendental self, isn't a reduction of your sense-based life in favor of the supersensual. Instead, it's an addition of another life, a significant broadening and deepening of the realm where your awareness can operate. At times, the mature contemplative consciousness may narrow down to an intense point of feeling, making it feel truly alone with the alone. Other times it may expand to grasp the universal life in all its grandeur, or perceive ordinary things through the lens of divine presence. It moves seamlessly and without any sense of contradiction, transitioning from moments of close personal communion with its friend and lover to selflessness in the deep yet dazzling darkness of the divine abyss. Or, when returning to the world of constant change that you glimpsed in the first stage of contemplation, you go beyond individual expressions of reality to understand the completeness that exists and motivates every part. By ascending to the mysterious realization of that reality beyond description, and descending again to loving contemplation and service of all living beings, it now discovers and worships everywhere, in the sky, in a nest, in a soul, in emptiness, one boundless love that has no measure as it encompasses all that exists. The patient ascent of the individual soul and the passionate outpouring of the divine mind become completing opposites within this grand scheme.